Welcome to another episode of Epic Gen Table Talk. Today we're diving into a topic that is near and dear to our hearts, living in between cultures, specifically being Filipino-Canadian. Whether you're balancing traditions and figuring out your identity, or even just curious about embracing diverse backgrounds, you'll find this episode to be super interesting. Join us as we explore what it means to live in between cultures. Welcome back, Sophie and Antoinette. It is so nice having you guys here.
So happy to be back.
Guys, I'm a little nervous. I can't even lie.
Yeah.
It's been a couple of months, but honestly,
how many months? 1, 2, 3.
Stop counting. I think we need to count that number. But I'm actually really excited to be back as well, though. So.
As you should be. And I can't forget about our amazing guest co-stars for today, Isabel and Holden.
Oh my gosh, I'm actually really excited to be here.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Aw. Okay, guys, so I think we can all relate to today's topic of living in between cultures because we're all Filipino-Canadian.
Yeah. For me, I'm actually born in the Philippines. I was actually born there, and I moved here in 2016, I think, when I have no idea.
7? Do the math, guys.
Mental math.
Mental math. Thank you. Yeah, I was 7, and now I'm here, and I haven't been back since, but I've always wanted to go. So.
Oh, yeah. I just went in October.
Really?
I want to go back.
Yeah, I'm going in August.
Oh, lucky. Take me with you.
You want to go with my luggage? Like,
I'll sneak in. They'll never know.
She'll get through security. It's okay.
Well, actually, I was born in Canada, but I lived in Winnipeg and moved here last year. So it's been different, but definitely way less of a change than going from Philippines to Canada, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. Who's born in Toronto?
Same here.
Toronto gang. Yeah. I mean, we're all in Toronto now, but
We got to stick together.
Okay, guys, I think that was a good little warm-up. Quick, do you feel more Filipino, more Canadian, or a mix of both? In one sentence, can you describe your identity as a Filipino-Canadian?
Honestly, I'd say I'm a mix of both because I just think it's really cool living between cultures, like experiencing life as a Filipino and a Canadian, even though, like I said earlier, I grew up in Canada my whole life. I feel like I've been really exposed to my Filipino heritage through my family and friends.
I can't even lie. For me, it's like I feel it's definitely like a mix of both. Like I'm definitely very interested in Filipino culture and I want to learn more about it, especially because I grew up in Canada in like a very Canadian culture. But the time I feel super Canadian is when I speak Tagalog. The Canadian accent is literally coming out. Like when I sing. Oh my god, my vocal teacher will tell me, oh, you gotta pronounce this differently. Like, oh, I'm so sorry.
And like when you're talking like your as moles, they're like, oh, just English. It's like, oh,
sorry.
Like, I wish I could speak Tagalog. Yeah. I swear there was an episode where they got children's books. I need one of those books. If someone here can get me one of those books, I will use them. You know, like, at least I agree completely with you guys. Like, I completely feel like a mix between being Filipino and Canadian. Like, I haven't been to the Philippines yet, so stow me in your lug away too. Like, honestly,
we're gonna take 2 people.
All of us will fit.
Yeah, we're super short. It's like no.
But that doesn't take away from like that we're Filipino. Like we're still Filipino regardless of what other people say about us.
Oh, yeah,
like
definitely.
we are just rightfully Canadian as we are Filipino, and I don't think there has to be a reason to choose or to feel more of one or both, because I am both. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, I moved here. I was born there, but I think definitely for me, I feel more Canadian because I was so young. But I can still understand Tagalog, and I can kind of speak it. Like
I wish I could.
Yeah. I can like kind of speak it. Swear words I can definitely say, but like not here. But yeah, I think I'm more Canadian, but I would definitely love to lean back into my Filipino roots. Definitely.
Yeah. I feel the same way as you all. Although I'm in Toronto, I still feel connected to my roots and heritage, so I definitely feel that strong mix of both Canadian and Filipino.
gosh, that was actually such a cutie little discussion. But you do see we have a bowl here, right?
Yes.
So since we've been talking about this little blend between Filipino and Canadian identities, we have this little bowl of mysterious questions for both Filipino and Canadian to figure out maybe which one you identify most with, maybe to figure out if we actually are both, or maybe we just don't know Filipino words. Hey, so Holden, would you like to pick one from the jar and read it to us?
Do you follow any Filipino TV shows or movies?
Katniel.
Real, that's so real.
Guys.
I watch a lot with my mom. We were watching What's Wrong with Secretary Kim, and yeah, so after her love team broke, we were just following it, and I honestly think it's so funny, and I'm pretty sure it's based off of like a Korean show. So I was like, I don't know. Honestly, I just watch it for like, it makes me feel like I'm like gossiping with my titas, to be honest. Like, yeah. Yeah.
Does anyone else watch any like TV shows or like like on ABS-CBN, maybe like ASAP or Showtime? Do you guys keep up with that?
Bro, I wish
all?
I knew the name of anything, but like I see these shows and like it's always the most dramatic thing you've ever seen. Like that is the easiest, most identifiable thing about any Filipino TV show is like it's such a drama. We love the drama.
Yeah.
Or like when it's the game show, like Showtime and stuff, and all you can hear is like the ba ba ba. Oh my gosh, just like if you told me to call it by its name, I'd be like, but if you told me to sing it, I know it. The sound effects, I can name all the sound effects.
Oh my gosh, I went through like I go through like this phase like once every 6 months where I'm like, okay, I need to learn Tagalog, so I'm gonna watch all of these Filipino shows. I'm gonna watch all of them, and then my Lola is gonna be so impressed with me, and then I watch like 5 episodes of this one show. I don't even know what it's called. Like it has an English name, but like I still don't know what it's called. And like I'm like I can understand what they're saying. I don't need subtitles, but I'm still like, okay, wait, I need to pause it, and then I need to be like, okay. And then I have to unpause, and then my grandma's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Because she can understand it like fluently, and like I'm like,
You guys are like, I'm doing this for you.
yeah.
Guys, we have our moments, but does anyone else want to pick anything from the bowl of?
I shall pick. Okay. What is your favorite Canadian food?
Poutine.
Yeah,
Beaver tail.
poutine. Yeah.
I can't even lie. All my money goes to my cafeteria poutine.
Same, no, literally.
And I don't know why I buy it because it's overpriced, but I still get it because I'm so hungry all the time. So I guess that's my favorite.
I'll do the next one, guys. Let's do this like really quickly. Like,
Okay.
come on, rapid fire.
I feel it.
Do you celebrate both Canadian and Filipino holidays?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Say so.
Yes. Okay. Like what?
Oh, Canada.
Yeah.
Guys, we celebrate Christmas early.
Yeah,
Does that count?
That's true. Like I'll put up my Christmas tree. It's like January. I'm like, what? They're like, it's just up all year round. Honestly, it's like we're already preparing. It's the second it's over. It's like, okay, 365 more days. Why is there a countdown for that?
Okay, this one has been sticking out to me even when we started this. So I'm gonna just like take it out now.
feel it.
Okay. Which side of your heritage do you feel more connected to in social setting? Oh, that one's kind of deep.
Got really philosophical.
Okay, again, which side of your heritage do you feel more connected to in a social setting?
I personally feel like I'm connected more to my Canadian side because a lot of this, or especially my school, there's only like a few Filipinos. So especially when I'm talking to a lot of my friends, I think I'm connected more to my Canadian side.
I guess it depends, because if I'm talking to my family, all of a sudden I become like the most Filipino, like the most Filipino person out there. But yeah, when I'm talking to my friends, like I never even bring up like. Sometimes I'll cheer if someone mentions adobo. I'm like, Philippines. But like honestly, yeah, I'm mostly Canadian.
It's so funny because my school is actually very Filipino dominated. Really? So literally the majority of my friend group is Filipino, but the thing is like a good 90% of us, like we understand Tagalog, but we can't speak it. But then I have like my friends that do speak it. So like sometimes, but I understand Tagalog. So when they talk to Tagalog to me, like I understand it. But then some of my friends are like, "What are you guys saying?" And I'm like, I don't know how to say it, but I can understand it.
Yeah, like in a social, like it depends on the social setting, I guess. Because when I'm with my family, my entire family only speaks to me in English, even though they know I can understand them. Except for my aunt. My aunt, she's kind of like an older sister to me. She's kind of like my ate, but she's the only one in my family who speaks to me in Tagalog because she yells at me.
Yeah. There you go.
She only yells at me. It's just fine, but like understandable. But I mean, yeah, definitely with my family more Filipino, but with like friends, definitely more Canadian, because well, almost all of my friends are like not Filipino, so yeah.
Okay, okay, actually, never mind. I was gonna close my eyes, but then I couldn't figure out what the bowl was. It's not working for me. Okay, guys, do you speak Tagalog or another Filipino dialect at home?
I can't speak it, but I understand it.
Yeah.
Guys, yeah. If I had to be so real, every time I hear my grandma speaking Tagalog, I'll pull up Google Translate and like I try to understand what she's saying. If she's talking on the phone, and then like Google Translate will be like, supermarket. She went said, like it's not work for me.
Yeah.
English is supermarket. She wants said.
Yeah.
For me, it's like oh.
Oh no, you go.
For me, I like I said earlier, like I can understand it. So my parents do talk to me in Tagalog at home. But the times when they say, "Oh, try speaking it,"
You're like, no.
Yeah.
I'm like it's like, cause like I think I can form sentences in my head. It's just that I literally need to think like for a while and then say it, but it comes out really Canadian too. So.
Oh my god, yeah. I can actually understand. I didn't even know this until my mom pointed it out. She was like, you can understand both Tagalog and Ilonggo, and I'm like, what? Because she apparently I can, because like apparently my grandma speaks to me in both languages, but like I just like don't understand it. I mean I do, but like I just don't really get how they're different because they sound so familiar, and I'm like. Are you telling me like I'm kind of like trilingual? I'm like, oh my god! I'm like, oh.
Okay, guys, I think we have time for one more round, but we gotta speed it up. We gotta do this like Sonic
Okay, guys.
fast.
I'll go first then. What's a Filipino word you love using? For me, it's definitely "ainakapo." It's just like a filler word for me.
I like to say Knox. Like if I see something cute, I'm like, oh, Knox. I don't even know if I'm using it right, but
No, but that's so cute though.
yeah, especially when I'm watching those areas.
What's a Filipino tradition you keep alive in Canada? I don't know. We don't really have a lot of traditions in my house. I mean, yeah, I don't have any traditions. Yeah.
I know that for me, like during the New Year's, my mom, she always has like, I think it's like a good luck thing, but she has like this jar. I think one is, I don't remember what it is, but I think one is water, one is rice, and then there's something else, and then she puts money around it. I think that's a Filipino tradition. I'm pretty sure, but I know she does that every year, so.
Okay, next question. Do you prefer Filipino or Canadian music?
Filipino, easy.
Filipino, easy. I think we have some of the best singers. The best singers in the world are Filipino.
Oh my God, Leah
you can fight
Salonga.
me on that. It's great.
Leah
gonna square
Salonga.
up.
She's actually gonna start fighting you. Like,
I love Leah Salonga. Am I even saying her name
Yeah,
right?
yeah, she's a great
Yeah,
singer. She's a good
she's
singer.
amazing. Oh my god, I loved her in Miss Saigon.
I'm gonna do this one. Okay. What's a Filipino festival you love attending? What's it called again? Whoa, why did I forget the name?
It's like Pinoy Fest.
Yeah, that. But there's so many that I don't even know the names of. I just go to them. I can't even lie. Anyone else that has like a
no,
festival?
honestly, like I'll just if there's Filipino food there, like anything, just anything, I kind of as a festival.
Filipino food is the best at these festivals, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, go.
Last one.
Do you feel more at home in a Filipino or Canadian community event? I'd say Filipino community event for sure. There's karaoke. Once again, there's the food. Like, okay. And yeah, honestly, I just feel like I'm with my people.
And there's the gossiping titas, of course.
We need that. We need the
There's
chismes.
always that. There's always that.
All right, guys, I think we've definitely made it clear that we truly are the blend that we said we were. We are both Filipino and Canadian. I think we aced that test. But unfortunately, we do have to take a break. But do not go anywhere. When we come back, we'll be diving deeper into this topic along with our special guest who will help us embrace both heritage.
Our special guest today is a storyteller, educator, and community builder. She's an advocate for human rights and press freedom, and best of all, she created a literary community to give voices to hyphenated Canadians. So please help me welcome the amazing changemaker and founder of Living Hyphen. Miss Justine Abigail Yu.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me. It's my first time at a talk show.
Well, we're super happy that you're here with us today, and you look amazing, by the way.
Wow,
you look
thank you.
amazing. So how about we just jump right into it? So for those of you guys who aren't familiar with what Living Hyphen is, can you please explain to our viewers what it is and what inspired you to create it?
Yeah, absolutely. So Living Hyphen is a community that explores what it means to live in between cultures as what we've been calling hyphenated Canadians, which is quite a broad term. And what it means is really anyone who calls what we now know as the nation state of Canada home, but who might also have roots elsewhere around the world. And we started off back in 2018 as a magazine, which you both can see, you all can see here. So we started off as a magazine in 2018, capturing all of these different stories, poetry, visual arts, photography from artists and writers all across Canada to really express what it means to live in between cultures. You know, I've heard all of your conversations about what it means to be Filipino-Canadian, and I really wanted to explore that, but beyond my own community, beyond the Filipino community, because I grew up in Markham, which is an incredibly, incredibly diverse city in North America. It's one of the most diverse cities. I think as of the last census, something like 77% of the entire population identify as visible minorities. So really, the visible minorities are the majority. And I grew up with friends from Vietnam, from Trinidad and Tobago, from Jamaica, from China, from all different places. And I really wanted to capture all of these incredible experiences, right? We live in Canada. We're such a multicultural country. And so I just wanted to capture that. And now we've grown beyond the magazine and we have a podcast. Some of the stories were turned into a stage play. We now facilitate a lot of these cultural programs like writing workshops and open mic nights and storytelling gatherings, really to encourage people from different and diverse backgrounds to share their stories, whatever that might be.
As teens, we don't really know what our identities are, and we're really just trying to figure it out. Do you have any advice for anyone who feels like they don't belong in either of their cultures?
Yeah, and I think it's such an exciting time for this kind of exploration, especially as teens, as you go into young adulthood. Honestly, growing up, you know, even though I feel really strongly connected to my Filipino roots, I spent most of my life here in Canada, right? I was born in the Philippines and I moved when I was 4 years old. So majority of my life, I heard you moved when you were 6 or 7, right?
Yeah.
So really young, but I spent the majority of my life here. And so how do I kind of navigate these two different cultures and people and places? And so I went through a lot of that kind of quote unquote identity crisis when I was a teenager. And a lot of that is why I started Living Hyphen, because I wanted to explore those questions. And so my advice is really to take that time to explore. You don't have to have an answer right now. You know, you can think about this and figure out, just in the way that you did in your table talk earlier, answering those questions for yourself. And that might change throughout time, right? And I think it's important to just honor all of those different changes. And you don't have to speak a language, you don't have to adhere to specific cultural traditions, you don't have to do anything to be a part of that culture. You just are, because that's what, you know, your blood, you know, runs through those different cultures. And so that's all you really need to do. And I think it's an exciting time to explore. If you're interested in exploring that part of your heritage, what a beautiful way to do it. And you know that you have a community to do it with.
So, you know, social media is such a huge and prevalent thing today. How can teens use social media positively to express their multicultural identities?
Yeah, I love social media. I spent a lot of time on Instagram and TikTok, and Living Hyphen actually uses that platform to share all of these diverse stories through poetry, through song, through dance. There's so many ways that you can do that by capturing it on social now, right? And there's so many creators that I follow, you know, some big brands or some big creators like Pinay Collection, Cambio and Co., One Down Media, who are all sharing stories and history and the Filipino culture. I learned so much about our culture through those platforms. And so that's another way for you to do that, right? Following those different accounts, following those different creators who share that information, and then also sharing how you might share your traditions, whether that's through video or through photos, through the food that you eat, taking and capturing all of those pieces. It's a great way to share widely, right?
You are so well spoken, and I love that. Like her answers are like so good. Like I'm watching her right now, and I'm like, oh my god, yeah. But before we go on break, I just wanted to ask, what are some of the activities that Living Hyphen creates and how in the community, and how can teens like us get involved in it?
Yeah, we do so many different things. You know, we often have different storytelling events, open mic nights, where we invite the community to share their stories. Usually there's a theme, whether that's, you know, stories of home, whether that is living in between cultures or honoring the land that we're on. And we invite the community to share their stories. And again, our stories can look and, you know, feel in different ways. It can be song, it can be poetry. Someone once came to one of our events and did a spoken word piece while also doing pottery, like throwing pottery. And they ended up at the end of the performance creating like a bowl, and it was so beautiful. And so watch out on social media, because that's where we always share our stuff, at Living Hyphen or livinghyphen.ca. And you'll find our calls for submissions or calls for performers. We're always hosting events like that. We also host writing workshops, encouraging young folks to share their stories and get it down on paper and actually, you know, spread it as far and wide as possible, because our stories are so important. And again, that looks in so many different ways, right? It's not just one single story of, you know, being Filipino or being Canadian. Every story is so different, and it's important for each and every one of us to share that.
So thank you so much, Justine, for those wonderful insights. So stay tuned, because up next we have an open mic featuring many talented artists who will share their experiences of being hyphenated Canadians.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for a Living Hyphen open mic.
Get ready to hear from talented artists who are going to share their stories about being hyphenated Canadians, starting off with our very own Glorianne. Woo!
Yay.
The noises of gathering resounding off of walls, laughter, karaoke, the smell of dinner filling the halls. It's the feeling of being loved which wraps like a warm embrace because your family is there. It's soft like velvet, but with the timeliness of generations. But it's also the people that I meet that make me feel just as loved. It's a place that smells like a comfy bed after a long day. It's all the feelings that make you feel safe. It's not always sunshine, but the smell of rain is just as comforting. It's being hugged and needing to cry, and the tug on your heart that doesn't leave you wondering. Home is love, and where love is where you make your home. Home is family and friends and everyone who makes you feel a little less alone. Home does not discriminate, because your home is your own. So being Filipino and Canadian are both part of my home.
Thank you so much, Glorianne, for that amazing performance. She did so well, guys. I mean, like, she is crazy talented. She's not only a singer, dancer, performer, guys, she's a writer as well. What do you think of that?
She was amazing. I'm so glad to be here, because we need Glorianne on a Living Hyphen stage, I think.
Yes, I would love that. And would you like to introduce our next performer today?
I would love to. Up next, we have the amazing and talented Alicia Richens, who is a poet and cartographer to New Worlds. This proud Trinbagonian Canadian works as a climate justice consultant facilitator who supports the learning journey of communities and organizations in unearthing the interconnections between systems, peoples, species, and issues to chart pathways to climate just and resilient futures. Let's give it up for Alicia.
Woo!
Another day, another form asking for my nationality. Drop-down menu. Canada. Check. Scroll. Trinidad and Tobago. Check. But Canada gets deselected again. One answer only. But one answer does not capture my truth. Birth certificate? Canadian. Driver's license? Trinbagonian. Passport? Both. I'm a reverse immigrant, born here, raised there. But I'm not actually an immigrant at all then, am I? Canadian by birth, I entered the world in the place in the water where the trees are standing, or at least where they used to stand, before land was reclaimed to develop everything south of Front Street today. Trinidadian by ancestry and naturalization. I grew up in the foothills of the Maracas Valley, where the mountains bore witness to my present reality as much as so much untold history. From Taino and Carib indigenous stewardship, to Spanish conquest followed by British rule, to French Creole settlements empowered by Africans in chains, to Indian and Chinese laborers tricked into replacing emancipated labor, to immigrations of Syrians, Lebanese, Portuguese, and Venezuelans. Home for me is Kiskadee bird morning calls, traveling in on cool breezes, bubbling pots of palau and calypso music blasting, carnival revelry and fall to the floor bouts of laughter, friends as close as family and neighborly intimacies, mango season anticipation and Savannah snow cones dripping with condensed milk, post-mass doubles and funerals that feel like house parties, feet that could move to any tune or rhythm, and humor that could turn any calamity into a cause for celebration. And home is also a warm box of poutine after a late night out, and complaining about the TTC while grateful for relatively accessible public transit, vintage thrifting on Queen West and dim sum on Spadina, and turning around at sunset for a glimpse of the light play against the CN Tower. Home is Randy's doubles after a soca fete at Rebel, and Jamaican patties and jerk chicken on Eglinton West. Being able to dine around the world in one city in one day, and still feel mostly safe to walk home alone at night. Am I Trinidadian? Yes. Am I Canadian? Yes. Please stop making me choose. In improv, we embrace yes and instead of these either or blues. Borders are fiction anyway, and nationality a passing scheme, because every experience and interaction builds a reality beyond my ancestors' wildest dreams. Cultural preservation is important. I'll always carry the red, white, and black. But in embracing the interwoven tapestries of lineage and experience, our stories become as colorful, rich, and multifaceted as is the reality of our very nature.
Wow, that was amazing. Thank you so much, Alicia, for that amazing and beautiful poem. Is this typical for Living Hyphen?
It sure is, and I'm so honored that we were able to bring her on stage here today. All right, next up, we have one final performer for all of you. Last but not least, we have Tita. Tita is a non-binary drag entitita who honors, dedicates, and embodies the essence of all the empowering titas in their lifetime who sacrificed their dreams for their children and yet looked sexy doing it all. Tita is here to remind you to do your best, to prioritize rest, and to put yourself first above all life's mess. Let's welcome Tita!
Dang fam jam. Sandali lang anak, as my mom clutches my lanky kissed arms, trying to run away from her hug, her yakap. Sweaty from playing hide and seek with my pinsans. Amoy araw ka, pogi mo. Ang guwapo ng pangangay ko. Warm embrace, that smell, that comfort, that familiarity. Yakap me please. Miss na miss kita anak. Haven't visited Scarborough in a minute. It was getting a little sus. Alay? The lies were the tension in the air, swirling, percolating, dripping like the San Miguel's on the table. But not Corona at all, just tense, tigas. Not gas from filled stomachs, sweet with sweet spaghetti, lutong ni nanay. More like marved faces as I faced sheer patrimony. Lolo held everyone's hands. Halika dito, apo. Ang lambot ng daliri mo. Kiss mo si Lola. Andrew, how's nursing? Ay, Andrew? No, ikaw si Vince. No, Nathan. She forgot my name again. I'm not her paboritong apo. Never was, never will be. Ay, sus Mariosep, Nay, si EJ yan. Yes, Jesus, Mary, Joseph, help me. Ah, Pandong's anak. Di ko kilala siya. Oh, ang tangkad naman. Do you play basketball? Let's go Raptors! But balls, that's a wrap for me. Unless they're wrapped in my... Meron ka girlfriend? Ang guwapo kasi ka? My Lola forgot I have affinity to the male species. That's okay. She doesn't know that I'll be going to hell, apparently. Pasensya na po. Baba na ako sa basement. Mahal kita po. Forever not her favorite. Where are my cousins? Separated from the adults, as usual. Divided by our generations. Connected by our entangled roots. The vibe shifted as I head downstairs. Immaculate, glowing, pretty chill if you ask me. Well, oh dang, yo fam. It's been a minute. Yo cheese! Give me some daps though. Yeah, that's us Scarborough shorties. Filipino sweeties. Sweet like spaghetti, always rolling up ready. Yo, EJ, shut up! Hoy, bastos ka eh? My cousin CJ drifted away from the island. Lost roots, lost roots. Why are you talking like that? Like what? Like a fob. Yeah, a friggin' obnoxious brat. Then why are you talking like a Scarborough mans? Yo, waste Ute? Do you even know where you get them words? Yeah, yo, I'm from the hood, born and raised. Yes, Kuya EJ. How are you? Oh, Slay, you're looking so fire. Spill all the tea. How have you been, sis? I honestly feel like I stepped into a fire pit, trying to figure out why we borrow, and yet still figure out why we can't stay in solidarity with our Black, queer, trans communities. Why we claim to put Black squares on our Instagram, and yet take these words that are not ours and use them in the waking hours of our lives. Lives slowly disappearing as we continue to borrow. This Fam Jam is an icky mess of intergenerational weaving, knitted together of all our identities shaped in a home that is broken, shattered, filled with lies, where we lie next to each other lying about who we are as people, navigating a world that we are not welcome to, navigating how to exist with one another, navigating our ebbs and flows, like waves that crash into one another, that crash as we figure it all out, to be kaibigans at walang reklamo, to the bahalakas that mean I love you, take care, even if I know it hurts to hear. That the too big within us may be too big, too big like the Pacific Ocean that surrounds the crevices in our souls. That too big that gets too big, overflowing, overwhelming. Almost drowning from trying to figure this all out. Why we left, why we stayed, why we continue, where are we rooted? Nakakainis naman. Tides sweep my souls, pull me in, pull me out. Feet wet, souls damp, from trying to navigate murky waters. Too big, but you are not too big. You are water, whatever you want to become. Be consumed by the love around you. Mahal kita, and all that you are, and all that may follow. Yo, Kuya, you Gucci fam? Let's go. Tara na, teka muna. Happy Pride Month, Filipinx Heritage Month, Indigenous Heritage Month. Free Congo, Free Sudan, Free Palestine, isang baksak.
And that wraps up another episode of Epic Gen Table Talk. We want to thank all our viewers for joining us today and for exploring identities with us. Remember, stay true to yourself and keep embracing your unique journey. Join us for more inspiring conversations here at Epic Gen Table Talk. Woo!